Okay, so today I want to talk about something that is super interesting to me, super important. I love talking about this stuff. It's about how to maximize content for your business using long form video. Now, I have been a filmmaker, photographer, storyteller for the past 15 years, and I've gotten to use this strategy in a couple of different ways for a couple of different businesses and some other places that I've worked in the past. What I love about this is that it takes the idea of a complete content strategy, which is in a lot of ways a very, it's an intimidating word, a content strategy. What does that mean? It feels like it could be a million things, and sometimes it is, but it takes a complete content strategy, breaks it down into what is going to be useful, what is going to be made, and where it's going to go, and what effect is it going to have. So let's get into this. I'm excited to share this. This is going to be a little bit of a long video, but I think you'll find it worth it in the end. So how do you maximize content for your business? Well, there is one goal, and that goal is to create the most value-packed content in the content format that performs the best on the platforms where your audience hangs out. So if you are a real estate agent, for example, we want to create the content that resonates with your audience the most, and we want to put that content on the platforms where your audience hangs out. And I can be a little biased, but I think it's going to be video. You do need everything in your business. You need graphics, you need copy, you need photography, you need all kinds of media. But I think what's truly awesome about video is it can give you most of that. And we're going to dive into that here in a second. The process is then to plan out that content that needs to be produced so well that it can be captured in the span of a few hours once a month. So when we think about content strategies, we're trying to see, we're trying to plan for content, in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, a year. You're typically, those are your kind of time frames where you're wanting to plan out your content strategy. Well, what we want to do is we want to take the minimal amount of time each month to create content that can stretch out across those time frames. So that could be, spending 4 hours the first Monday of every month to create the next 30, 60, 90 days of content. That way you're not producing stuff all of the time, and you're saving yourself a lot of money, headaches, worry, and effectively time as well. So in addition to long form video content, in the same time that we're capturing content for a business, we definitely want to capture some photography. We want to capture some UGC style content videos, which means, recording it on your cell phone. And we also want to, maybe write some copy, maybe have some CTAs in mind, all of that stuff that's going to make this content strategy work together. So let's dive down into why long form video is your friend. Well, we've just mentioned some of it. There's all kinds of long form video content that can be YouTube videos. It could be video podcast. It can be webinars. It could be keynote speaker, video recordings, whatever, you name it. It could be trainings that you did on site somewhere that is video recorded. But you want to take that long form video content, and we're going to break it down into other kinds of content. When kind of establishing this content, and this is really helpful for people that are trying to utilize content that is going to boost their personal brand. Yes, it can work for corporations and other things like that too, but specifically for people like doctors, dentists, independent, farmers or ranchers, even real estate agents, financial advisors, anybody who has a personal brand. And they're dependent on that personal brand to build their audience and to get business. I personally think having a YouTube channel is one of the most important things you can have. Now, I'm not trying to make you a YouTube star or to say that you have to go all in on YouTube, even though there are endless amounts of benefits of having a YouTube channel, and some of those we'll talk about right here. But having a YouTube channel is one of the most important things I think that can help a personal brand. Why YouTube? Well, here we have, it is the second largest search engine in the world behind Google. And that is kind of changing now that these AI platforms like ChatGPT and stuff like that are coming up. But right now, it's still the second largest search engine in the world. That's huge. People are constantly searching, where can I find X? Or when is the right time to hire this? Or what's the most important thing when thinking about purchasing that? That is a huge search engine. And YouTube will display content based on those search results. So if you're a business owner, like a real estate agent or a financial advisor or a doctor or a dentist specializing in a certain practice, then making content around those things that people are asking is a great strategy. It's also one of the biggest evergreen marketing tools where content that is literally months or even years old is still relevant, meaning people go to that platform to search for things. They go there to search for help, to search for answers on any of those areas that maybe your industry and your expertise provides. A lot of other social platforms, they're kind of fleeting. Yes, the content stays on your channel, on your Instagram page, on your Facebook page, on your Twitter feed, on your TikTok page, even LinkedIn. But there's a little more fleetingness to that content as opposed to YouTube. And then obviously being owned by Google prioritizes YouTube videos in their search. So you kind of get this double exposure advantage by showing up in Google search and in YouTube search as well, if you're creating videos for your content. So what I've put out here is, this is a financial advisor that I just found on YouTube, just as an example. His name's Jeff Olfert, CFP. I have no affiliation with this person at all. Don't even know who he is until I just made this graphic today. So I just wanted to use this example of how someone that is reliant on personal branding can use content like this in their business. So I've pulled 4 random videos that this guy has made for his channel. But what we can do is, in maximizing this content for your business, you can create 4 long-form videos per month and release them once a week. So in this case, he has one here called "How Much Money Does It Really Take to Feel Rich?" There's one is "Don't Retire Early. Here's Why." There's another one, "Advisor Answers. I got an inheritance. Can I retire at 35?" And the last one being kind of his personal story, "How I became a financial advisor." Those are the core long-form videos that I think you could create once a month. Sit down, record those things, and then release them on a scheduled basis. To have one video on YouTube per week that is beneficial to your audience. Now, these topics, there can be a variety of them, but I've kind of broken them down into 4 categories. One is being like industry education. These are just factual things, and probably some opinion based on those facts, but factual things that the industry that you can just teach your audience. The next is personal tips and tricks, secrets that you've learned along your way that maybe others don't know, or maybe somebody else in your competition doesn't use or doesn't know. There's answering FAQs. This is extremely important, especially on YouTube, where you're just trying to answer the most common, frequently asked questions that your audience has. This is extremely valuable. And then the last one is, personal branding, getting people to know you, to know your story, to trust you, to showcase why you're the person that they should work for or listen to or buy from even. So, and back to our content strategy, we're creating 4 of these long form videos in a couple of hours, meaning just recording them, a couple of hours once a month. Then what are we going to do with that? Well, we're going to edit those, and then we're going to distribute those videos in a variety of ways. So most people will think that they'll create one video and then put that content in one place. Like, I'll create this YouTube video, I'm going to throw it up on my channel, and it's going to do what it does. And to be fair, that is just kind of idiotic. But
That's why we're here today, to learn. What you can do is, once your video goes live on YouTube, there are plenty of ways to draw traffic to it. One being here in if you own an email or a newsletter, you're sending out constant messaging through a weekly email or bi-monthly email, whatever it is. Include your YouTube video in that newsletter. Say, hey, it doesn't have to be the star of the show, but that video on tips for buying real estate in Miami, Florida, let's just make that up. That video can be linked into that email newsletter. It enhances the email, but it also gives your audience somewhere else to go after that email as well. The thing about email newsletters, every other social platform, including YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you want to call it, Meta, it's all rented space, meaning you don't own it. You rent space on that platform by putting content on that platform. Your email list is something that you truly own, meaning that if any of these other platforms go down, you still have a way to communicate with your audience. So the advantage of owning a newsletter and having that list, that email list, is extremely important. So that's one way to distribute your YouTube video, is to put it in an email newsletter. The next one is, put it in website articles or blogs. If you are constantly writing a blog, put that video in that blog. If you're just writing regular website articles, do the same thing. Enhance those pages in your website with these videos. Back to Google and search results, that will boost your SEO by having the right videos, the right keywords, the right information inside of those videos on your web pages. So that's another way to distribute that video. Next, social support. At the release of each of these videos, you want to just paste that video link into probably your most important channel. But we'll use LinkedIn as an example in this copy, or in this video. So you distribute you post your YouTube video, it goes live. You want to take the link, put it on LinkedIn, write a short blurb about it. Boom. That's another placement for that video. If you have Meta or TikTok, try linking that YouTube video in a story post or something like that, or a Twitter post. Twitter X. It's a thing. Next is extended content. This is where we're going to take those long form videos, and while they're not directly linked to the original YouTube video itself, we can take 1 minute, 30 second, 15 second snippets out of that same content and create individual video content pieces for Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts, even posting them to Twitter X as well. If you think about a long form video, like a 15 to 20 minute YouTube video, or maybe a 30-minute podcast video, you can easily take 15, 30, 60 seconds out of those videos to create other smaller videos that will support your content strategy. So let's say, you're a financial advisor and the topic was, I got an inheritance. Can I retire at 35? That video may have 10 to 15 different components to it, meaning like, this is why you can't, this is why you can, this is things to think about when you get an inheritance, this is the tax implications, or whatever it is. Each of those little components can be a short social video. So extended content can come straight out of that video content too. And you only recorded it one time. You're just editing it down to almost endless possibilities for that content. I didn't touch on this first point, but I wanted to here. So once your video goes live on YouTube, it's scheduled to release the same day, same time each week. That's a general good YouTube strategy. If you want to release one video every day, or every Monday rather, at 10 a.m. That way your audience gets to know, when that regular cadence of when your content is coming out. as I stated, YouTube channels, I'm not trying to make you a YouTube star. I don't want you to, all the older audiences looking at me like, I don't want to be a YouTuber. That's not the case. What is important is YouTube channels provide a great resource. They're evergreen, but you can also monetize that channel over time. Once you get qualified into their AdSense program, if that's still what the program's called. But once you get qualified for that, meaning you have enough subscribers, enough watch time, then your channel can be monetized by the content that you're putting out. Meaning videos that you have made 4 years ago still count towards that watch time. So all of this content that is evergreen on your channel can essentially make you money over time. So what does that look like from a weekly content calendar standpoint? Well, first off, this is kind of 8 different pieces of content that is distributed in 29 placements for 1 week. And if you want to take that and maximize it to 4 weeks and a month, we're looking at 116 placements or touch points that your audience can see your message per month. Now, what does that look like? So we talked about that 1 weekly YouTube video. Let's say it releases Monday at 10 a.m. Well, we want to put that maybe in a website or a blog article. We want to throw that out in our weekly newsletter. We want to create, a LinkedIn post about it, that talking about copying that URL, pasting it, writing some copy with it. And then we maybe want to throw it on a Facebook story or an Instagram story post with the link saying, hey, new episode up or new video up. That gives you 6 different touch points for that one YouTube video. So you can count that as 6 placements. Next is we want to create kind of 3 condensed YouTube supporting content videos. Again, these aren't going to drive traffic right to it, to that one weekly video, but they could. But they're 3 little small short videos that we get out of that same content. So, that could look like at a maximum of, could be an Instagram reel 3 days a week. These are 3 individual reels of the same content. So if we go back to that inheritance example from that financial advisor, let's say the topic is tax implications that could result in you retiring at 35 or not. You could make that one topic, and that's one reel. Then you go to, here's what you need to think about 20 years later in your retirement. That's another topic. That can be a reel on Wednesday. And then a third made up topic reel out of that is, here's what to not spend money on if you do want to retire at 35 with your inheritance. That's another reel on Friday. So then you take that same reel and you apply it across all of these social platforms. So Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Short, Facebook, LinkedIn. So now you have 3 videos that are touching 5 different platforms over that week, essentially giving you 15 placements or 15 touch points for those messages. Now, people are kind of looking at me like, well, my TikTok audience is different from my LinkedIn audience, from my Facebook audience. And that is true. But that's the cool thing about editing, is maybe it's the same information, but maybe the captions look different for TikTok and Instagram. Maybe the CTA is different on LinkedIn and Facebook. You have the power to edit that so where the message hits like it needs to on those individual platforms. And sometimes just copying the same video, same style, same captions, same link, same music, whatever, can apply to from one social platform to the other. It doesn't always have to be different, especially when you're starting out. You kind of want to just make sure the context of the content, meaning the message, is relevant more than anything, more than the style at first. So that gives you 15 placements in addition to the once a month, the once a week launch of your YouTube video. Now, earlier I said we wanted to create some UGC, style videos, and that, is basically capturing content with your cell phone. UGC meaning user generated content. And a lot of people equate that to just being, non-professional captured, using a cell phone, using a webcam, whatever that is. You get to define it. The definition is subjective. But if you want to supplement your week's worth of content with another kind of piece of content that is, a little more personal or whatever that is, a UGC video is a great way to do that. So maybe you're in your office working with your partner, or you're having a client meeting and you just wanted to capture some quick stuff with your cell phone. You can edit that down and release that video. And I would put that across the same platform. So Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube Shorts even. And I would post that maybe once a week. Up here again is, UGC style videos are a little less polished. Maybe they're captured on your cell phone. They don't look as official as professionally produced content. Again, it is certainly subjective on what style of content that works for your audience. Maybe that is you filming a time lapse of some activity and then you're just doing a voiceover. That's pretty popular. Maybe it's you literally just selfieing video the whole time. Whatever that is for you, that's what UGC style content is. And then we talked about maybe capturing some lifestyle photography. So if you're a real estate agent, maybe you want to show photos of yourself in a listing, just to show the space, show yourself. There's professionalism all about that. So maybe there's lifestyle photography posts that you can put up with content, with copy on some of these platforms. Maybe that's on LinkedIn. Maybe that's on Facebook. Maybe that's on Twitter/X, whatever you need to do. Another example of content could be reaction video to a current event. So you've all seen those videos where someone is recording themselves, probably a selfie with a cell phone, and there's like an article, a news article behind them. A lot of industries rely on what is going on in current events. If it's real estate, what are the taxes and what's the housing market doing? If it's financial advisor, like what are these tariffs doing to economic, systems and stuff. If you're in food and agriculture, maybe it's, that a good example was a drought in the Midwest over the last year has caused the beef supply to be shorter. All of these things are good examples of how you can react as a thought leader in your space to these live and current events. And then the last example here is just standard copy post on LinkedIn. What stories can you tell with just text? There's a million of them. So we're just trying to write some simple copy as a text post on LinkedIn. So those are some ideas that you can supplement these things that you've recorded to fill out your weekly content calendar. So what is the value in all this? Why is this important? To me, I love this because with this content strategy in mind, you have content that is speaking directly to your audience through a variety of different channels. Content that helps people find you through Google and YouTube search. Content that helps people understand your background and helps gain their trust after visiting your website or reading your blog. There's content that helps people find you via Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter/X. And then there's content that helps you strengthen your relationship with your audience that has already been with you for a long time via your email/newsletter. So again, our goal isn't necessarily to grow all of these channels and have them each be your main focus. A lot of people get really overwhelmed at that. They feel like, man, I've got to be in all of these places all at once. And really, starting out, you should probably figure out what is the best channel. Where does your audience hang out the most? That's probably where your focus should be. But this strategy does allow you to maximize minimal effort in producing that content and maximizing how to distribute that in a lot of different places. So the goal is obviously to maximize messaging and distribution from a single content production. This strategy educates, entertains, and builds your authority in your space by casting a wide, consistent net to get your audience to you, all on autopilot, meaning that it's consistently created, scheduled, posted so that you can focus on what's most important for your own business. Now, Will, what do you mean by autopilot? Well, that's what we do. That's what I do. That's what I love to do for people, is to plan, create, produce, schedule, and distribute that content, then also learn from it and to improve it going forward. So all of that can be on autopilot, all in just a few hours of your time per month. Maximizing the content for your business in this way by batch creating these assets will give you two really big benefits. One is having a raw video and photography library so that you can repurpose that content in almost any way possible that you see in the future. You're not just creating these YouTube videos and social posts. This video content, this photography content that you capture in this couple hours a month can be repurposed into sales deck materials, motion graphics, trainings for your employees, digital ads. All of this stuff can be repurposed in the future to grow your business and your content strategy. And you will have a growing amount of that content when you do this each month. The next big benefit is this allows you to really take the excuse of not having enough time and to not be able to post consistently. The businesses and individuals that post consistently separate themselves from all of their competition. It doesn't matter how much money, how much effort, how much quality is in the content. If you are consistent with your messaging and with your posting over time, you will win, point blank. So I know this video has been a lot. It's something that I truly just nerd out on. If you need help in creating content for your business and you want to learn more, reach out to me and let's connect. See ya.